Well, I wish I could say good morning, but it's not such a good morning for me. Yesterday, when I was heading up the 395, I went to go pull into the little Marine Corps station. They have Marine Corps' winter survival camp or winter survival schools up in this area on the 395, and they have a little housing area where they have just a commissary and exchange. I was planning on pulling into there on the way up, and as I did, everything was running fine from, hold on, I think the mechanic's here. Nope, wasn't him. Well, let me show you really quick. So I think they're gonna start working on my motorcycle soon. So right here, that's my, I don't know if you can see it. Where is is it too dark? It's right here. Right there. That's my attempted patch job of the front brake cable. That's duct tape with some zip ties on it. I don't know if the lighting's that good. I'll take that off, but it got something picked up on the road right there. Something got picked up on the road right there. I had already done some off-road riding. I did a Jeep trail into Bodie. This actually might be the guy. Hold on. Nope, it wasn't. I did a Jeep trail into Bodie, a lot of road debris. I went through snow. I'll put that online in a second. Put that on YouTube. And then on the way out, I rode from Bodie. I was going probably about 50 miles, maybe 60 miles. Well, maybe not that far, but I was on my front brake and everything was fine. I was curving and everything, no problem. I pull into that little Marine Corps station, the guard there, to show my ID, and a little bit of an incline. So I downshift to go and hit the front brake. Nothing. The guard at the time, he looked down and he saw it dripping from the master cylinder. Let me see if I can get down here a little bit better. I saw it dripping from the master cylinder. So kind of freaked me out. I was in a good location. One thing, when these type of things happen, two things. Number one, yeah, it's very frustrating at the time, and I was very, very pissed off. But then, when I got to the hotel room, I thought, what if that would have failed me if I had to brake for an emergency? Instead of preparing in my head, I'm braking for the guard, right? What if I found that out the first time if I was in traffic, if I was on one of the passes getting into Placerville on the 50 or a curvy road, right? So although it's very frustrating at the time, for the first 2 hours after, I was just pissed, started thinking about it, and I still have a lot of riding to do, and there are many, many situations I'm going to be in that I can't have that. I can't have a front brake failure. So the fact that it happened where it did, I figured, hey, you know something? I'm blessed. That was a good thing, okay? The other part that frustrates me is, if you guys remember my PCH, my Pacific Coast Highway trip this past summer, I had a sprocket issue, a rear sprocket issue. I had the sprocket, and I had two spare sprockets, a front and back, and a chain in great condition that I usually travel with, down at my house in Riverside, not with me. So guess what? Guess what I have in Riverside right now? Yep, you guessed it. I have a steel braided front brake cable at home, not here with me. So what am I going to learn, right? I carry all this garbage that I don't ever use and need. Oh, hold on. Hi, how you doing? So I'm going to continue this video. So the place I'm at is it's superimposed. It's backwards. Sorry. Is Testa Motorsports in Graberville, I believe. They told me to be here at 8. I got here a little early. They got here early. They're setting up everything right now. The main guy came out. He says he might have a replacement for it. If not, I might have to go up the road a little bit. The drive up here wasn't bad at all. It was a pretty straight shot. But I'm gonna try to yank those things off the. Actually, what I'm gonna do, you guys can see it. Let me go back in the other. Hold on, back to the road. So that's the area of damage. What I'll do is that if they're able to replace it, I'll just hold on to this. If they can't, I want to keep it on there because it's just gonna drain all the other brake fluid that's in there right now. So I'm gonna keep that on there. But if they're able to replace it, I'm just gonna keep the line, and then I'll do a video and I'll be able to show you guys where it actually what hit. I'm not sure what it hit, but something definitely did hit it. Well, hello everybody. I'm doing a video from the road here. I left Sonora this morning, having a really nice drive down the 49. I pulled over at this historical marker, and I thought I'd take an opportunity while I was here, just to, it's really secluded. Highway 49 is running up there. As I was coming southbound, there was a sign that said historical marker, left turn. It buckles you down this road. It looks like there's some private property around here. But this was the historical marker. It's really kind of old. I was just going to blow it off at first. And I thought, that's kind of a cool history. It's about a shrine. This is the shrine here that the historical marker is going to talk about. It's probably about 10, 11 feet tall. I'm not sure. Well, I'm going to tell you who that. I guess I can tell you who that was. This is actually, I'm going to be doing some maintenance in a second. I'm going to talk about my brake cable, but banana peel. Oh, this is going to be, I'm in selfie mode, so it's going to be all turned around, unfortunately. But Ferretti Shrine, basically the significance of this is that it was put along Highway 49. So I think what I'm on right now used to be Highway 49, kind of like Route 66, a couple of old alignments. But was reminiscent of the kind found along roadsides in Italy. Travelers would stop to rest and meditate and refresh themselves with the cool spring water that was piped from a nearby spring. A niche was built to hold the statue of St. Joseph, but remained empty over the years. So that was that, and I guess I can hear the stream down there. It's down there. Let me go back to the brake. I know people was like, hey man, you titled this about what was going on with your front brake, so everyone was curious. So, but I was just right there, and this is why I stopped. Okay, so what we got here, this is the old brake line. That's the one that went bad, the one that failed. This is my attempted patch job. That's duct tape with some zip ties trying to cut it off. I'll cut it off and I'll show you the damage. I'm gonna bring this home to show my buddies Greg and Hector, so it doesn't take much to carry it. But this is the original one. Gen 1, by the way. So KLR 650 Gen 1. Here's the new one. The new one is, actually, let me go into, I'm going to flip-flop this. Let me stop this and go into the regular mode. Unfortunately, I can't do it well. Hold on, maybe I can. Oh my goodness, I didn't know you could do that. Learn something new every day. I was able to actually change the direction. Okay, so that's the new one they put in. When they put it in, one thing I want to point out is that these lines have these, because I had a problem with it after they actually installed it. Now the initial problem, why it ripped down here, this is the bottom end, right, where the damage was. The initial problem was, this is a bigger rotor. Hector and I swapped out the stock rotor for a bigger brake rotor for more stopping power, which requires this like aluminum adapter. Requires this aluminum adapter right here that the master cylinder that hooks up here would generally go right in here and in here. So when the brake failed at that little Marine Corps station, this bolt was all the way out. Now ironically, I had two more bolts. That one was totally missing. The caliper was rotated down and the line was cut right here. So when I left the motorcycle shop, everything looked good. I didn't get a good visual. I'm not sure if this bolt was still in it or not. I know when it was cut. I know when all the brake fluid was flowing out, that was missing, and this whole thing was retracted down, was down this way. So then I got into Shingle Springs at my friend's house, and this was gone again. This one backed out again. Fortunately, I had two of these from the original setup in my loose bolts. So if you're on a KLR, things are going to vibrate loose, carry extra stuff. Fortunately, I had them. The only thing is that I had to cut them down. They were a little bit too long. So went ahead and I cut them down a bit to fit. So now I have one more spare one. Now here's the problem that's still existing. This one you could torque down fine. This one snugs in, which tells me the threading of the aluminum adapter is stripped somehow for some reason. Don't know why, but I did put blue Loctite. I didn't put the red on there, but I put the blue Loctite up there at Shingle Springs. Been quite a few miles since then, riding and hasn't backed out yet. So hopefully the Threadlock Blue is holding it in there. The thing I was going to also point out, when I got to Shingle Springs, I sent a picture to Greg that this part here, this part of the brake line, the brand new one, was bowed out dramatically. This is a Gen 2 line. And I'm thinking, well, what would be the major difference? Well, I found the difference. You see these rubber bushings? These rubber bushings are spaced specifically for whatever generation KLR you're on, because they go into these metal brackets, and that holds it in and holds tension, and then it runs up to a second one up in, oh man, I don't know if you can see it. No, even if I turn the steering wheel, you're not going to see it. There's a second one up in there that I had to deal with. These, and here's it is on the old one. So this is what I'm talking about. These things here are either very glued, or they're sealed or seized somehow onto the tubing, the rubber tubing. So what that motorcycle did, this one on the Gen 2 was orientated, I think, higher or lower, which it didn't catch, or maybe it was lower. So what I had to do was actually get my knife and cut it and peel it off and replace it so it holds it like that. Now it's been holding it fine. These things, these little rubber bushings, these rubber stoppers or whatever they are, they don't move. They don't slide up and down that black line. When I cut the other one off, they're somewhat either galvanized or glued or heated onto the sheath so they don't slip at all. And so I had to cut that away. So that was the problem I had. I was trying to explain to Greg after I got to Shingle Springs, and I was able to straighten this out, and I have all the stopping power I need now, because it was getting really slushy and sloppy even after it was replaced. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pause it. I'm going to cut away this, and I'm going to show you the type of damage that was on it. So let me pause this real quick. Okay, so here's the damage. I mean, the lighting's terrible here. So here's the damage. And if I would have to use it like medical terms, I would say it's like an avulsion. It's almost like a clean, it's a very clean, two hash marks, it's a very clean cut. And I'd hate to hold it up to the disc itself and think that somehow when this got loose and retracted back, pulled it or slacked it, where this became a spinning blade and somehow contacted it and cut it in. I'm thinking that might be a possibility, that because I lost this, this folded back. Thank God the whole thing didn't fall off, right? This folded back, and as it folded back, somehow the slack of it hit the rotor possibly, and just sliced a chunk out of it. Can't really get a good. You know, I took some pictures on it. I'll put it on Facebook. I don't know if I know how to. Maybe it's just the way the sun is. There's some shade here. I don't know. I think you guys get the idea. You know, actually, it might be the reflection on the screen, because I'm having a hard time seeing it. But maybe the viewers, maybe you as viewers, can see it better. But I'm going to hold on to this. I do. Well, here's the rub again, guys. Just like when I did my Pacific Coast Highway trip and I needed a back sprocket, and I had one at home. I had a back, a front, and a chain at home. Decided not to bring them. That's what I needed. I have a braided, steel braided front line. My wife found it in my parts box back home in Riverside when this had happened south of Lake Tahoe. So that's about it. One other thing I'll say on this ride, I haven't had to add any oil. I did do an oil and filter change before I left. Haven't had to add any oil. There's some grime and dirt. I've been cleaning the chain periodically. There you go, Greg. Yes, I have. I got my chain cleaning stuff. Checking the tire pressure. Overall, it's been a pretty decent trip. Haven't used. I've only been camping once. I stayed at friends' houses a couple of times, and then hotels. And this is my last night out. I'm staying at Lemoore Naval Air Station tonight. So, all right. I'll continue.